All right, as for what we're getting into on today's show, let's break down the latest injury news around the New Orleans Saints as the injury report for Week 2 has just been dropped. And that's because the Saints and the Panthers are going at it on Monday Night Football. So we're going to get into my keys to victory, talk about the preview, and just some things to watch out for in that game. But before we get to that, friendly reminder to subscribe and turn on your notifications. Lock us in for Saints news, rumors, and updates all throughout the season and in the offseason, and let's get the good juju going. Sub for Saints Dubs. We are on the road to 20,000 subscribers, but we got to get to 19K first. So help us out. We're at 18,312, and we will be live for Monday Night Football. Saints versus Panthers. It's going to be electric. We have an awesome Super Chat giveaway. Trust me, you do not want to miss it. Be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications. Lock us in, and we'll see you at the watch party. All right, let's get into the injury update around Kendre Miller and JT Gray because those are the two most notable updates to discuss. So Miller, the third-round running back that the Saints drafted this past year out of TCU, he is a limited participant. He returned to practice for the first time since the preseason when that hamstring injury flared up. Safety JT Gray, he's one of your special team aces. He had a shoulder injury, and he was a limited participant today. Worth noting, he did have on the red non-contact jersey, so he was there, not making much contact, but definitely worth noting. Ryan Ramczyk, Jimmy Graham, they were both limited participants today. They were on rest days. They've been having veteran rest days on Mondays, or a few days leading up to game days anyway, so not really a big deal. It's something you should expect. But Juwan Johnson, the tight end, Mr. Reliable, he has a calf injury, and he was a limited participant. And, I think it's pretty interesting because both teams are relatively healthy. I mean, even the Panthers, sure, they got hit with some unfortunate injury news this weekend, but only 3 guys on the injury list is pretty impressive. Only 5 guys on the list for the Saints. It feels like I've never seen that before. But Jaycee Horn, cornerback, he's the Panthers' top cornerback, will not be available for Carolina this week because he has a hamstring issue. He's going to be missing a few weeks. DJ Chark, he had his second consecutive day of being a limited participant. He is dealing with that hamstring issue. And offensive tackle Taylor Moton, he is a limited participant due to a bicep injury. So let's talk about Kendre Miller because, as we all know, he did miss in Week 1 against the Tennessee Titans. But I do want to see how he progresses and how his status changes throughout the week. Because if you can get Kendre Miller into the rotation with Jamal Williams, 1, it opens up the playbook that much more. And 2, take some snaps and take some reps off of Williams. And I think that could be very beneficial for the offense as a whole. And as for the tight end, Juwan Johnson, reports are saying that he was limited with that calf injury, but he did participate during the open media portion of practice today. So that's pretty good to see that he is, progressing well. It's nothing too major, nothing too crazy. Anything that I've seen right now and everything I've seen right now in the last, handful of minutes hasn't really been anything crazy. So I think Juwan Johnson will be ready to go for Week 1. But again, if he's not, I will definitely crow, and that's going to be a player that the Saints will miss. But guys, let's keep the good vibes going. Send good vibes into the direction of New Orleans by typing "Who Dat" because we want to keep the Saints healthy all season long. Feels like they always have injury issues, so help us out. Type "Who Dat" in the comment section. All right, so next let's get into some keys to victory versus those scummy Carolina Panthers. I don't even know what they have to expect this week. I do know that the Saints should have a field day. And one thing I also know is I'm going to get rich because of our friends over at BetUS. I went and got started at chatsports.com/bet, and I plugged in this promo code chat125. Let me tell you about it. An incredible deal. I put in $100. They put in $125, so I had $225 to game with. And you want to know what I'm laying it down on? Saints -3. That is lock of the century. And then the over-under at 39.5. Just a couple days ago was at 41. Now Jaycee Horn isn't playing, and they're bringing the number down? Are you kidding me? I mean, I feel like the Saints should go score more points after this. So I'm hammering the over, and I'm hammering Saints -3. I encourage you to do the same. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code chat125. All right, so let's get into my keys to victory for the New Orleans Saints, and it all starts with DC4. For the love of God, protect the quarterback. I mean, last week, the offensive line early was terrible. Second half, later in the game, definitely looked a lot better. But the Titans had 4 sacks last week, and it was led by Danico Autry, Arden Key, and Jeffrey Simmons, who you can see, Arden Key, he's an edge. Danico Autry, he's a defensive end. Jeffrey Simmons, defensive tackle. So, I mean, the defensive line and those outside linebackers were feasting. And I need to see way better production out of Trevor Penning and way better production out of Cesar Ruiz, especially Ruiz, who just got paid an extension. I mean, come on. Or a new you better figure it out. 32.2 PFF grade is not going to cut it. 54 PFF grade, it's not even his third start in the league last year. He's got to have time to develop, but you need to have better production out of Penning. So when the Saints put a fullback or they put a tight end to go and assist him out, or go help him out and give him some assistance, they did get better production out of Penning. But let's also look at the pass block win rate and the run block win rate for the offensive line. So in terms of pass blocking, they actually fared pretty well. 10th in the league at 73% win rate. And then on the run blocking grade, not that high. You only had a 43% win rate, and you ranked 26th in the NFL. So I want to see the Saints offensive line take steps in the right direction. Obviously, there's a little bit of time that you have to do, get used to it, build that chemistry, work out the kinks, if you will. But let's make that happen in week 2 and get on track. Number 2, and this should be possible if number 1 is done, but sling the damn rock. I mean, throw the pill 50 times. I don't give a damn. Look at this defense, at this CB group. You're not getting Jaycee Horn. So you're going to have Deshaun Jameson lined up on Chris Olave. You're going to have Dante Jackson, more than likely on Michael Thomas. Jeremy Chin, maybe on Rashid Shaheed, depending on what they do there. If they throw MT on the nickel and Sheed on the outside, I mean, come on now. Or on the slot for MT, excuse me. But this group isn't going to stop the wide receiver group. An honest question, who in the hell is going to guard Chris Olave? I genuinely want to know that. Who is going to prevent him from having 150 yards or less? Honestly, he's already an 112-yard receiver in one game. 8 receptions, 14 yards per catch. The dude put on. But I want to see the rest of the wide receiver group feast. And it starts with the big 3. Michael Thomas, he called these his guys, Shaheed, Olave, and MT. He called them the big 3, so we're going to roll with that this year. So you had Olave, like I said, 8 receptions, 112 yards. MT, you can't guard him. He had 5 receptions for 61, including a very early 24, 25-yard gain just to get things started. I mean, it was electric. They wasted no time putting the ball in number 13's hands. And Rashid, the need for speed, Shaheed, he found himself in the end zone, 89 yards on the day, 5 catches, one of which was a touchdown, one of which sealed the game for the Saints. And my biggest thing, dear Dennis Allen, dear Pete Carmichael, dear whoever's listening, do not be scared to let the ball fly. If you don't have the opportunity to do it, if you do it and it doesn't work, go to the run game. Go to the screen game. But I don't think that should be a problem. Make smart play calls. Make the right reads on the offense. And that's not just the offensive line. That's not just Derek Carr. That's everyone. Make the right reads. And for the love of God, let's put up 50 on those scumbag Carolina Panthers. And if you want the Saints to beat the Panthers, hit the thumbs up icon, like this video, because it's who dat all the time. I'm tired of, losing to the Panthers. That's a 2-game lose streak to Carolina. Are you effing kidding me? Help us out. Hit the thumbs up icon, and let's beat the Panthers. All right. How are you going to beat the Panthers? 1, liking the video. 2, you got to give Bryce Young a proper welcome to the NFL. And one thing that I want to give credit to for the Falcons defense, played pretty damn well against Bryce Young. But that didn't stop him from at least having a decent day. 20 for 38. The production is just under 50 or just over 50%. I mean, it's a first overall pick, week 1, divisional opponent. It's going to be tough. 146 yards. Yeah, it's all right. He was sacked twice the Falcons defense did get to him twice and sacked him twice. He did have a touchdown, but he did throw 2 interceptions. So in terms of those 2 sacks last week, let's make that 4 to 5 this week. And I'm looking at these 4 guys to lead the charge. Carl Granderson, you already got 1.5 on the season. Let's go get you another couple. Wham, bam, thank you, Cam Jordan. He has half a sack, but I want to see him get a couple more. Bryan Bresee, big number 90, your first-round draft pick. He's already making noise and proving that he was worth the investment. And shout out to Pete Werner. He has a hard time staying healthy, but when he does, the production is there. He also has half a sack, and these are the 4 players who lead the sacks on the New Orleans Saints. But it's also not going to take just the guys in the pass rush. It's going to take the DBs. And I'm looking at the flight crew, Marshawn Lattimore, Paulson Adebo, and Alontae Taylor. You got Adebo and Laddie Daddy out on the outsides. Alontae Taylor lined up in that nickel slot position. I want to see these guys all have an interception by the end of this week. Alontae Taylor, that means you need to go get an interception. Marshawn Lattimore, if you want to go get another couple, be my guest. But guys, this trio needs to come hungry, and they'd better eat their damn Wheaties. All right, the last key to victory, special teams. Shout out to special teams. Shout out to Darren Rizzi because, good God, that unit was hot last week. I mean, that thing was hotter than Cousin Terry's crawfish boil. I mean, good Lord. Blake Groupie, the rookie kicker who beat out Will Lutz. He went 3 for 3 on field goals. Good from 23, 33, and 52. He was also 1 for 1 on extra points. The Saints only had 1 touchdown. So, there you go. But Lou Hedley, the Aussie, the 30-year-old rookie, 48.2 yards per punt average. I mean, that's pretty solid, I would say. You could hear the boom that he put up. They all landed within the 25-yard line. I love to see it. And then Zach Bond. I've been tough on the guy, but hey, here's the thing. He has special teams value, and he blocked a punt in the second quarter. So that's just some of the highlights. And guys, shout out to special teams coordinator Darren Rizzi. So get in the comment section, type RizGod, because I love what this special teams unit was able to do. And if you get JT Gray back on top of that, I mean, goodness gracious, this unit could be absolutely lethal. I had 2 problems, though. Don't fumble the opening kickoff. Rashid, figure it out, man. Especially the opening kickoff of the season. Don't do that. Not a hard fix. The punt return stats in terms of how many yards that they gave up, they did give up 9.3 yards per return, along of 14, but just 37 yards in total. So, again, I just want to see this special teams unit come out fast, come out hard, giggity, and also come out smart and playing very, very well. So final thoughts, just wrapping things up here. You got to get ahead early in the NFC South race. Technically, I hate to say it, the Falcons are on top because their win last week was over Carolina, meaning they are higher in the NFC South rankings despite both teams having a 1-0 record. The Bucs also 1-0, so you can't mess around here. Go win the damn game. Don't waste any time. Be smart. Play physical, and let's walk out of Carolina with a win. So who you got, Saints fans? Type S for Saints, type P for Panthers. Let me know down in the comment section. And if you guys need any coverage, if you guys need any news, updates, or anything like that between now and game day, hit me up on social media at TraceGerard48. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on TikTok. If it's on social media, you'll probably be able to find me, but the link is right below me in the comment section and in the description. As always, Saints fans, y'all stay golden. We'll catch you next time.